Cedric, watching one of the other things that I was reminded about watching the doc is watching The Last Dance is that when they acquired Rodman, there were questions like, well, will this work? And I'm in high school at the time going, damn, the Bulls got, maybe I was in college already, the Bulls got Dennis Rodman? Yeah, I was definitely past high school. This is over 94, 95. Bulls got Rodman? Who are the idiots who think this won't work? As a Bulls fan, when you heard they signed Rodman, what was your reaction?
That was like, yeah, that was a crazy one. I mean, you knew that Rodman was, amazing athlete and the kind of utility player, like you say, Swiss Army knife. Like he did so many other things that nobody else did on the court. So that part you could kind of get, but his personality was one that I didn't feel that really mixed with the Bulls at all. I kind of liken him to Tabasco sauce. It's like, if you like hot sauce, Tabasco ain't your first one you gonna go to. You got some Texas Pete, you got some Louisiana first, then you go, all right, well, Tabasco, all you got, bring it. Right. And so, and that's how he showed up in the situation. And he showed up being this extra spice, this thing. And again, that's another great example where you see the one where I forgot all about that he took this break in the middle of the season and just went to Vegas. Don't we all wish we could do that on our jobs? Just like, hey, man, I'm going to take off. I'll be back, dog.
How about that?
48 hours turned into 2 weeks or something. So, but again, Jordan, the way the documentary shows it, he was the coolest dude about it. He tried to make sure that he gave Dennis what he needed and knew that his spirit was to come out and be a winner.
Said a couple of things. Number one, LeBron did take a break during the season a few years ago, so let's not forget that, number one. Number two, just for you, Max and Cedric, that's right, he did. For you, Max and Cedric, and speaking to MJ while watching this docuseries, MJ's mentality was he wanted me to make sure I said this. You know what? He did say what he said about Isaiah and the Pistons when they were up 3-0 on the Pistons and about to sweep them, but in defeat, he was always gracious. He may not have been as gracious as people had liked when he was winning up 3-0, but in defeat, he was always gracious to them. And last but not least, about the Scottie Pippen point, his whole thing was, excuse me, people keep forgetting, 11 years, my first 11 years in the league, I made an average of $4 million a year. So I'm preaching about what I know is what he was trying to say. Having said that, Cedric, my last question to you is this. Whether it's LeBron or anybody else, do you believe?
Stephen A.
Yeah, but he was like, that don't have nothing to do with what he did on the court. He was being paid that salary. They ain't got nothing. He's talking about the game. He's like $4 million for the first 11 years of his career. And he's right about that. It was an average of $4 million. Cedric, does anybody have an opportunity to eclipse MJ in your mind in the modern era?
I mean, LeBron would be the closest thing, I believe. I mean, in so many ways, he is shown to be, one, a great businessman and a great, ambassador of the game of basketball. And, he's moved around. He's a winner. They'll prove it in L.A. if they can pull off a championship. But everywhere he's been able to prove that he's a winner. And I think that those kind of things will show. I think in the era of where we live now with so much media and so much kind of attention to a person can have, I don't think that you can get that reverence that you got back when MJ had it. It was one of these things where the way he kind of came into the world, that reverence that comes with being that great at that time, I don't know if you can eclipse that ever, Like, I don't know if there can ever be another Martin Luther King, because just when it was needed and what it was what it was for, it just represents something so much bigger. And so I kind of feel that that's what MJ will always be, and other players just be great.
Yep. Different circumstances at the time. Ced, fun talking hoops with you. Appreciate having your perspective here. Before we let you go, please tell us about your involvement with the All In initiative. What's going on with that?
The All In Challenge doing a lot of great work for COVID-19. And so they've had so many people decide to join in and go all in. So what I'm doing is an all-expense trip paid to Los Angeles to be on the neighborhood. You get to have a background role, a very prominent role on the show. You get hair and makeup. You get a dressing room. You have a great time, and you bring you and a friend out and stay in L.A. and be a part of the neighborhood. And so I'm offering that. I'm going all in and want to support all of the first responders and everybody who's out there dealing with this crazy pandemic. And this is a different time in our lives. And so I just want to make sure I did my part to be able to support all of those efforts and issues out there.